mega agenda for Ghana, I'm the only one who says, number one, I'm going to change the constitution. Number two, I'm going to eradicate corruption. Number three, I'm going to institute a national development plan. Number four, I'm going to reduce government by 73%, make it effective, efficient, and functional. And number five, invest $10 billion in agriculture for the next 10 years. Drone-controlled mechanized farming. Who says that?
Well, I think basically all the candidates are thinking along the same lines.
Yeah, but they can't explain it. Where they're going to find the money? They can't tell you. They're not coming along the same lines.
So let's take it a step at a time.
Sure.
You talked about character and you know,
performance,
trust,
yeah,
and performance. What is your track record that you come to the table with?
Well, I've been at Principals for 24 years. With the most regulated industry in the world, the securities industry in the U.S. There's no other agency business more regulated than this. And I have a clean record. My U4, a public record, you could pull it out. So that's a record nobody compares with. My background is in engineering, so there is specificity in my thinking. You know, and they don't have it. Like I said, we have records to show that these guys have failed in the last 32 years. I'm talking about the three, okay? And nobody's record comes close to mine. It's a fact. So if, and plus, who is saying the things that I am saying? Who is saying that they're going to strip down the exemptions that we have of the presidency? Nobody can say that because they want the cushioning, they want the Teflon protection. I'm saying let's strip it.
What kind of exemptions are you referring to?
The presidential exemptions.
Okay.
So that the president has the same protection as every other Ghanaian citizen.
Oh, right.
I'm the only one who says that we're going to, 275 parliamentarians, we're bringing it down to 20. Who said that?
20?
Yes.
How will that work?
Why wouldn't that work?
I mean, how would you operationalize that? I want to understand how it would work.
Because with all the technologies that we have, community, you have cellular intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, artificial general intelligence, quantum computing, humanoid robots. It allows you to do things more effectively, efficiently, in shorter periods. So why would you need 275 parliamentarians who are still figuring out how to get this thing to work? Do you not see that they can't figure it out? Go outside and you will see everywhere in Ghana, the whole Ghana is like a village.
What you're talking about is redemarcating the entire country. Do you?
Why do you say why do you have to?
Because I mean, these 275 came as a result of the creation of districts, and so if you're going to, you know, knock it all down to 20, you're looking at an entire process.
No, I'm not. You just don't understand. If you live in an apartment and you have 5 rooms, and you decide that you're gonna use one room, you don't have to knock the walls down in the other rooms. Why do you have to knock it down?
I mean, well, it's easy to say that, but administratively, I'm trying to understand or see the picture.
How many regions do we have?
16 right now.
Bring it down to 10 because that's where we were and was working perfectly fine. Okay. 16 makes it administratively more complex and it's a waste of money. And we haven't seen any result from making it 16 yet, have we? We haven't. You know we haven't. It was just an administrative move that made some people happy but didn't bring any dividends to Ghanaians. So it's a waste of democracy. We bring it down to 10. You have upper region, lower region. How many parts of the 10 regions do we have? 20. Every region has 2 parts, upper region, lower region. You put a representative at the upper region, a representative at the lower region. We know people who are there. We know what ages they are. So if you know the demographics of the people who live in the region, then you know what their needs are. Simple, simple process. Do we not?
I see.
No, I mean, you make it so complicated and it's not.
No, I don't think you get where I'm coming from because
I get what you're coming from.
There will be constitutional requirements in order for you to be able to.
Well, of course, you're not just going to get up and say you're going to strip everything down. You have to go through the hurdles constitutionally.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is Oh, but can it be done?
And you're going to be using, well, I don't know if it could be done. I'd like to see how it would happen.
Of course it will be done.
But you will be using these same people you are heavily criticizing. You think they'll let you have your way?
Kamini, it's an entrenched position in the Constitution. I don't need the Parliament to side with me. It goes to the Ghanaian people, who I'm making a promise to right now, that we're going to change the way Ghana works. You're not going to Parliament for the legislators to play soccer with you. No, you're going to the Ghanaian people, who you will have loyalty to. You have a jurisdictional and fiduciary obligation to the Ghanaian people, not to people in Parliament. They haven't done anything. Have they done something? Tell me. This Parliament is the most useless Parliament. They haven't done anything. If they had done something, you tell me. Go outside and look at that mess. The whole Ghana is baller. Baller everywhere. Not just baller like filth baller, but baller in terms of nothing works. Tell me what works in Ghana.
But you still want to be president of this Ghana where nothing works.
But that's why we need. But that's why we need to bring somebody who can fix it. That's why I am the official baller man.
I want to talk about, your relationship with the rest of the government machinery, particularly the legislature. You have criticized them a lot. You have just referred to the current parliament as useless, many of whom will be returning in the 9th parliament if you become president. Hang on. How do you hope to work with these people?
First of all, the loyalty of a legislature is not to a president. Their loyalty is to their constituents.
Yeah.
Correct? My loyalty is to the whole of Ghana. So I am going to work for the people of Ghana just as much as they're going to work for their constituents. So now if I were to come in right now, committee, and I said, we're going to build bridges and schools and all the infrastructure you need in this region. Do you think a well-thinking legislature is going to say, oh, Kofi, you're not from my party, so I'm gonna block you? Think about it. This is not the person who's going to do a PDS. I'm not here for a PDS or an Ejapadie, so I don't need a rubber stamp from the legislature.
But you're going to need to build consensus with the legislature
but this is
for
what
smooth running of your administration.
Let me tell you, smooth running for things that we are going to bring to the floor. But what I'm saying is smooth running to what extent? If what I'm going to say, if you were drowning and I come to you and I say to you, Kamini, here is a life jacket. Take the life jacket. Are you going to argue with me that, Kofi, you're not in my party, so I'm not going to take the life? You drown. The responsibility and the fiduciary obligation of a parliamentarian is to their constituents. If I come in and I put something on table in Parliament that this is what I think needs to be done, it's to your benefit and it's to make you look good, because everything you propose in Parliament, you still need the executive office to approve, because that's how you get money from finance. Right or right? Of course. So if you want to play ball, we play ball. But what I'm saying is if the Ghanaian is the person who is going to suffer, then there's no need to play ball, because my ideas will be to serve the people of Ghana. You are responsible for your constituents, and that's what I'm here for. So this is a fallacy that's been created by NPP, NDC, that, oh, if somebody makes an attempt to become a president, they don't have a majority or minority, they're going to have a hard time working.
I mean, that's not true. It's because there are constitutional requirements that a certain quarter of your ministers must come from MP.
What's that got to do with
from Parliament?
Yeah, so
then, if you, at this point, call the entire Parliament useless, the question I was driving at, or where I was going to with that question, is that how are you building consensus so that you can run your government?
We will build consensus because, listen, if we need, you think the Parliament as a whole has been useless. There are people in there that I'm sure would want to do well for Ghana. And we will address this, and we will go to them and say, hey, come work. You think somebody's going to say no to joining our cabinet? I don't think so. I don't think so, because people know what we're about. People know not everybody in Parliament I think, want to do bad by Ghanaians, but they don't have a choice because of the system and how it's run. So even if you want to do good by people, you can't because it's a cartel. Right or right, it's run like a mafioso cartel in there. So there are people who in there who, with the right leader, with the right president, they will stick their heads up and say, you know what, Kofi, I want to work with you on this thing. You with me? We may not be 100% in agreement, but if it's for the benefit of Ghanaian people, why don't we come together and make it work? There's no need to say, you know what, I'm going to butt heads with you because you are from AXT party and I'm from this party. No, we're working for one cause, the Ghanaian people. So I don't see that happening. And if that were to happen anyway, it will be a constitutional crisis. I'm not going to be the loser of that constitutional crisis. I'm the president. Oh, yeah. We're here to represent the people of Ghana. For once, we're going to do right by the people of Ghana.
I see. And then you say that from 275 MPs, we're going to break it down to...
bring it down to 20. Yeah.
And I mean, based on the explanation you've given me, holding all other things constant, it would appear that each of the 10 regions you reverse us to would have 2 MPs. I see. So how would that work? Again, I'm trying to understand if
so
you...
wait, first of all, think about what the prime responsibility, the mandate of a rep is. What is your job?
Tell me, what do you think?
Well, you can't, I'm the one tell you they're useless and you tell me, oh, they have something to do. So you
I haven't said that. I have contested that. If you call them useless at this point, how are you going to work with them?
I will work with them. For those who want to work with me.
I think we've dealt with that.
Okay,
what I want to understand now is these 20 MPs that you would have, I want to see what your...
The strategy?
Yeah, the strategy, the roadmap to 20.
The roadmap, we're going to go to a referendum.
Okay.
Okay? It's not going to be obviously in the first term because they would have been in already by the time I go in. But coming into the second, if I get a second, which I know I will get because of the things we're going to do to change the system.
So this is not a first
No, you can't come in because they're already in there. You need to work with me here.
Well, it gives more clarity.
Oh, okay. So that's where you're... Oh, of course. We're not going to come in here and change things because there's a requirement constitutionally you have to go through. So what I'm saying is once I'm in, then these are things I'm going to propose to Ghanaian people because, listen, all you have to do is take a look at them and say, give me one parliamentarian who've... One. You tell me if you know one because I can't find them. Who's been exceptional at their post? Give me one. Exceptional.
Well, I thought you may have identified a few who would not or who would want to work with you.
Well, this is the thing, and this is one of the things I always talk about. When the leader is different, the expectation and the performance that comes with people are different. So if you have a lazy leadership, the people become lazy. If you have a leadership that has high expectation of its people, they rise up to the occasion. That's how it works. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why, Kamini, that people leave from Ghana and they say, oh, wait, quadrifro, nihafo, whatever. They go abroad and they are high performance.
Right. Kofi, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll look at a few of the other things you promise you will do, including changing the constitution, which you've mentioned so many times already. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Under the MPP, we have arrested the rapid depreciation of the city.
A nose-diving currency.
Why are you running?
Which has rather arrested the person who said he would arrest, he had arrested it.
I understand.
The dollar has rather arrested him. And so we're looking for him, we can't find him. I asked the IGP if he had the key so that we could find where Vice President was, and he said he doesn't have it.
I understand. I'm still amazed by the stuff that comes out of your mouth.
Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
The news that matters most is the news that hits closest to home.
When it breaks, we are there.
If it touches your family, your city, affects your expenditure, your decisions, as well as your safety, we've got it covered.
It's easy to just cover the news. What we are doing is different, creating a news experience that prepares you for anything. TV3 News, award-winning journalism, world-class quality, on TV and online, right at your doorstep. TV3, first in news.
Dr. Baumia once said,
Teachers are suffering. Teacher trainees are suffering. Nurses are suffering. And nursing trainees are suffering. Patients are suffering. Students are suffering. Traders are suffering. Pensioners are suffering. Drivers are suffering. Contractors are suffering. Civil servants are suffering. And farmers are suffering. Fishermen are suffering. And industries are suffering. Artisans are suffering. And Kayaye are suffering. The disabled are suffering. And men are suffering. Women are suffering. And children and Ghanaians as a whole are suffering.
Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
I'm a Ghanaian and I love luxury accredited faith. And I love democracy.
December 7th, Ghana is voting.
Only peace. Peace, I give it to you all.
I love Ghana.
Peaceful election before, during, and after.
One Ghana.
Peace. Peace to everybody.
One Ghana. Ghana.
This message brought to you from the luxury accredited faith.
Dr. Baumia once said in a church,
Since 2014 in India, they have a policy to only build concrete roads because it works out much cheaper. So I said, well, let me bring this to my bosses, and we have been discussing this as recently as last week in Parliament. And Bishop Dag, I'll let you into it. Cabinet did decide last week that we should move towards concrete roads as a country.
Where are the concrete roads? It was all lies. You trust this man at your own peril. Vote John Dramani Mahama for president. Trustworthy, honest, and reliable. Vote for change. Choose the umbrella. Vote John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Welcome back. My guest is Kofi Kranting. He is independent presidential candidate in the 2024 race. We are looking at what he brings to the table as we enter the elections on December 7th, 2024. Kofi, thank you so much for sitting with us. A change of the constitution. You're not talking about a review. You're looking at a complete overhaul?
Complete change. Reviews did not work. Did it work? See, let me tell you something. One thing that blows my mind is our ability to always go back to things we know have not given us a result and always going back to it. What has a review done for us? Can you, bless his soul, Atta Mills made an attempt to reform and use all the pretty words. Did it happen? His own people shut it down in Parliament. We are going to change the Constitution. And the reason why it needs to be a change because the Constitution is a holistic document. When you change one part, it has to be consistent with all other parts. That's why it's a total change.
Are there specific things that you're looking to tackle?
Sure. One of the things, appointment of the IGP, Electoral Commissioner, Accountant General, and all these other top positions does not have to come from the president. It has to be something done by a public service commission working in tandem with the specific agencies to pick their leaders. You can't have a president appoint these people and all the other 6,000 other positions that goes into executive in running the country. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You see, and I talked about the exemptions, the Article 71 and has to go. We don't need ex gratia. Total waste of our time and money. Of course, listen, the only way we are at 760 billion cedis of debt, nobody has a plan to roll that back. It's going to get worse and worse. I'm the only one who has a plan to roll that back. And you're not going to do it in thin air. You're going to do it by bringing the axe down.
I'm going to ask you what your plan is to reverse that debt. But
sure.
Let's stick with the issue on the Constitution just for a little bit. Kofi, have you seen any of the white papers on the Constitutional Review? I see. And you're not impressed by anything in it?
It's not being impressed. It hasn't happened. Until it happens, it doesn't mean anything. And that's one of the things that we are people who we get moved by, effort. Effort is not, I don't come from effort. I come from results. So if there's no specificity in how it happens and not getting the result, it means nonsense. Get it out of here.
Well, I'm asking because it would seem that when you look at all the reviews that we have gone through, your mind seems to be in the right place with those reviews. But as you identified, there were hurdles in the way of implementing those reviews. How are you planning to maneuver those hurdles?
There was no hurdle.
There was no hurdle at all? Okay.
There was no hurdle. It was not done properly. You see, a lot of people, the reason why the review was shut down in the last Constitution review was because it was not, in the Constitution, it tells you the pathway to take to change the Constitution.
Right.
If you do not do it exactly like that, then a group of parliamentarians could shoot it down in Parliament and say, because you have not taken the right course, you haven't met the legal requirement for this to happen.
Okay, so what is the course that you will be taking? I want to understand what the constitutional requirement is.
No, you have to do it the right way. But what I'm saying is it goes to the Speaker. The Speaker starts the process. It's read in Parliament. Then it goes to the Council of State. Then Council of State nibbles over it for 30 days. Then it goes to it's reviewed at the Gazette. I always forget that word. So it's reviewed at Gazette for 3 months. Then it comes back to Parliament. Speaker looks it over. It's read again. Then it's given to the Electoral Commissioner. The Electoral Commissioner starts processes for the 40-70, 40% of the voter roll and 70% agreement once it goes through. And then it comes back and it's made into law.
And what didn't the others do then in all that you have mentioned now?
Because there are 4 ways to change a constitution. You could do it through taking signatures, or you could do it through, it's called the Constitutional Convention, and there you could do it through a review, and there is a legislative process that you do it through. And it didn't go through the right way in terms of the review, and that's why it was shut down.
I see. Let's move away from that. I want us to talk about your plan to reverse the debts that the country owes at this point. What is it? How are you hoping to achieve that?
Simple. Very simple. We cannot do anything with our debt because we don't have the income. Simple common sense. We don't have any industries, do we? I don't know of one. Everything in here is foreign made. I don't know anything. I went to Mokola 2 days ago, and I was in tears. Everything in Mokola, China. Everything. Even the Ghana Sapo Edibiarekra, China. Why? Where are the leaders? Your leaders, the 275 people that you want to protect. Where are they? They should take a walk to Mokola and see Kantamanto. Nothing is Ghana made. Nothing. It's a pity. And then you come back and you say, oh, unemployment. Nonsense. Well, we don't have industry. So the first thing you do is the output from agriculture, we feed the agro-based industries. So you can add value. When you've add value, we use for our needs, and whatever the surplus is, we export. When you export, you get foreign exchange reserves. When you get the foreign exchange reserves, you get you do three things with it. Number one, you pay down the debt. Number two, you expand your industry base. So you go from the agriculture first level base to domestic level, and you start producing everything on the domestic level. And then the third thing is you put the extra money into your central bank. So if you need Forex, that's where you go. You don't go to Tudu. You know where Tudu is? That's where they do all the Forex, right?
Right.
And Ghana Bank, they go and photocopy our CD, get the CDs and buy Forex on the street. They push a lot of CD on the street, and it tanks our CD against the dollar. How do you build an economy like that? And then you come back, and the nerve of you to go back to IMF. Common sense should tell you, number one, you have high debt that you caused. Your inflation, you don't produce any damn thing. That's why your inflation is that high, because you don't control the prices on the street. And then you have high debt, and you don't have any exchange. You don't have any surplus. You don't have any surplus. If you don't have a surplus, obviously, where's the foreign exchange reserve coming from?
What is it that you think that the current administration, previous administrations didn't do right with value addition of our agric that you will be doing differently?
Okay, so first of all, I don't see any result. I don't know if you see result from where you sit, but I don't see result. So regardless of what they do and how you term it, the bottom line is if you don't get the result, then there's something wrong that you're doing. Okay? So that's where we start from. So the first, like I've said, these guys don't have the mental capacity. They don't know what they're doing. And we have allowed them to sit here for 32 years, and they back again, and promises after promises that they're going to, this time it's going to be different. In the process, they're giving away refrigerators and stoves and everything just to induce you to vote for them, because they know they don't have it. It's not that difficult, Kamini. It's not. It's not that complex. This is not like brain surgery, blindfolded brain surgery. This is simple stuff. If we do not have the factories, first of all, this thing that you're talking about is planting for food. And have you seen one? Have you seen one? They just used it to scrape money. Why is the government left agriculture to individuals and not making it a Ghana project?
Right. So then, what's your plan to ensure that governance does not sit at the presidency alone or in Accra alone?
Yeah, it's centralized. So you decentralize. The way we're going to have our local governments run is our local governments are going to run as separate entities. They're going to be like Fortune 500 companies. You're going to employ your own regional executives, and they're going to run this like companies. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we're going to run it. And we're going to give you the necessary apparatus, the skill sets, the development skills, and all the ingredients to make the unit work. But you are responsible for employing your own people. And at the beginning of the year, you tell us what your goals are. You don't hit your goals. At the end of the year, you are fired. You with me? So you have specific goals you need to meet based on what is current in your region. If you have gold, then we give you what you need to do with the gold. If you have yam, what you need to do, the expectation. If you're in the north, you have grains. We need this quantity of grains you need to give us. We'll give you the support, everything you need. We're not going to leave you to do the farming all by yourself. And then as the income comes and you give us a budget, we will see how consistent your budget is to the amount of revenues you're able to raise. If it's more than that, we cut it down. If it's less than that, we add for that you're able to. But in terms of all the big ticket items, because we're doing a national development plan, the government will take care of all the big ticket items like the roads, the hospitals, the schools. All the big infrastructure will be government. Local government will be mainly preservation and maintenance, which we don't do. Nowhere, Ghana, no preservation, no maintenance. Everything is left to rot. Even the buses we bought, even the ambulances we bought just a couple of years ago are rotten now.
You mentioned gold earlier, which means that your decentralization will also touch minerals. How are you going to rope in, the contracts we've signed already, the companies who have already been given these concessions in these areas?
Okay, so a couple of things. The moment we get in, we're going to investigate all these companies with the concessions to make sure that they have met their regulatory requirement in terms of reclamation. If you have defaulted on that, then guess what? We're going to call your license. You with me? If you haven't, then we're going to sit with you, take a look at the contract, and make terms. But for the most part, community, we don't want everybody to be able to mine. They have mutilated the lands. They have poisoned our waters. We need to let the lands heal so we can heal. You with me? First of all, we're not even getting the income in gold. Somebody else is making the income, and it's not Ghana. So there's no point. This big idea of Galamsey is helping us, the gold is helping us. It's not helping us. We're not getting any income from it. So what I'm saying is before Galamsey, Ghana was doing okay.
Right.
And we could do okay if we focus on what we need to do, which is renewable stuff, cassava, cocoa. We have left cocoa to rot. We haven't supported the farmers. So how are you getting the revenues from cocoa? You're not. And you, just based on the revenues from cocoa alone, we could support Ghana. From cassava. It's a disgrace to have 275 parliamentarians and import corn and cassava. Do you know we import corn and cassava? That's why we don't, poultry is dead in Ghana.
I see. So what then will you do about community mining? Because there's an appreciable level of community mining.
There's no need for community mining.
Okay.
And the reason why there's no need, see, I like to go to the root cause. I'm an engineer. What is the root cause? The root cause is people do not have jobs to feed themselves. If they got jobs to feed themselves, then they will wean off the mining because it's a dangerous thing. People die from it. A lot of these young guys die. So what I'm saying is why don't you give them another source of income? And there are so many, agriculture is the answer. I'm going to make Ghana the agricultural hub of the world, not of West Africa or Africa, the world.
I see.
We're putting in $10 billion every year for the next 10 years.
Right. Every year when you take office.
Oh, yeah.
Where will you get the $10 billion from?
What happened to all the money they stole?
Who stole?
People who have stolen the money.
Okay.
The past governments. For the last 67 years, you know how much money Ghana has lost? In the last 32 years, we out 96 billion. 96 billion, according to their numbers. And then all the other extras.
You're going to go after these monies?
Heck yeah.
Okay.
We have to get it, or we're going to go back to our, you see, that's why I'm saying, community, let's pay attention here. If you don't get these monies, you're going back to IMF. We don't have the infrastructure to generate the type of income we need to build Ghana. Everybody who's talking about, oh, we're going to build Ghana, we're going to do this, they're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't, where is the money coming from? Nobody's going to hand you the money. So you're going to have to go back to IMF.
So this 96 billion, cedis or dollars?
Dollars.
Dollars in people's pockets.
Yeah.
And you're going to get them when you come to office, and that's what you use to fund the government. Is that realistic?
No, of course it's realistic. We're getting our monies. Whatever we get, we still can roll. There are so many other ways that we can make money. But I'm saying that the bulk of the money is people's pockets, and it's coming out of people's pockets. And you're going to jail on top.
I see. What are the other ways you're raising money for your government?
30% of everybody who works in Ghana, only about 30% pay taxes. The rest of them don't pay taxes because we don't even know they exist. Because we don't have an integrated national ID and address system. So when you have an integrated national ID and address system, you port the numbers from that onto what we call a national data repository system. You're able to identify every Ghanaian and how much they make. And then you're able to tax them based on how, progressive tax and how much they make. Not this ridiculousness that MPP, NDC go by indiscriminately taxing people. You can't indiscriminately tax people. It kills lifestyle. That's why only 30%, about 30% of people in Ghana make less than 5 cedis a day. as I speak to you now, 7,317,555 families, household families, are in a major poverty crisis. 7 million.
Households in this country.
Yes, and this is not my numbers. Guess what? This is the statistical numbers. Ghana Statistical Service. 7,317,555. Multi-dimensionally poor.
And you're going to alleviate them or elevate them from...
If you don't have food, 10 things: housing, healthcare, employment, education, transportation, telecommunication, security, recreation, markets, and a functional central business district. If we do not build a country, an economy that builds these 10 things, people can never elevate from where they are now, which is a low income to middle class. It will never happen. And we need a middle class to be able to create what we call the economic combustion to, number one, absorb the 760 billion CD debt and elevate people into competencies to start generating healthy income, not the borrowing income thing.
Do we have a good enough or big enough middle class right now?
We don't have a middle class.
We don't have a middle class at all.
Our middle class is in the diaspora. And the boneheads will not allow for the middle class to come to Ghana because they don't want anybody to challenge them in their politics. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we have a middle class who they've exiled for the most part abroad. I champion ROPA, Representation of the People's Amendment Act, to get them to course Ghanaians abroad to be able to vote, and it was shut down. They haven't implemented it. Mahama came to Worcester in 2014 and lied to Ghanaians that he was going to implement ROPA. It did not happen. Akufo-Addo came to New York University. I was there too, Africa House, and said, oh, we're going to ROPA this, ROPA that. It didn't happen. They all lied. And then they have the nerve to come back to us and say, oh, we want to come back and run the country. Really? We've got to be crazy to be voting for these guys. I'm telling you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll finish our discussion with Kofi Koranseng. Don't go away.
All be lie.
Thank you, boss. See you next week. Yo, where is my passport? Where is my passport? Yo, man, I want to Waba.
What is that, Mama?
And then it's special.
Give me my passport. You made me pay for express for 24 hours, and yet it's not in.
You told me last year telling me this. What's going on? Hello.
This man here has taken my money. That within 24 hours, he'll do my passport for me.
Oh, see, that's the same thing applies to me. He told me last night. He's telling me this week. Process. That's what they do. Yeah. Oh, madam. Please relax. I'll get for you in 24 hours.
Hey, Goroma. So you never change? Eh? You get passport for someone within 24 hours, Madam Obwa. See, the normal working hours is 9 to 5. Eh? Not 24 hours, yeah, I'm fat. I'm fat. You guys have made a very big mistake by trusting these people. Now, through digitalization, passport application has been made so easy. Now, you don't need to stress yourself and join any long queue for your passport. All you have to do is to log on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and begin your application.
Oh, sir!
By buying a passport application voucher online. Simple and easier. And very soon, all you need to get your passport will be your Ghana card.
Hey, what is it true?
Yeah, Obisa.
It is possible. Esuro, boot number 1 on the ballot.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, number 1 on the ballot.
Welcome back. My guest is independent presidential candidate Kofi Koranseng. Kofi, again, thank you so much for talking to us. I see on your flyer the plan to reduce wastage. You have one building for all ministries, all the 20 ministries in one building.
10, not 20.
10. Yeah, because it's going to be, well, that would be the regional ministers. Would you have
ministers?
Would
no
you have
regional ministers.
There won't be there won't be regional ministers for each of the 10 regions.
Why do you need regional ministers?
Okay, so these ministers will be what?
Agriculture.
Okay.
Energy, education, employment and entrepreneurial development, finance, foreign affairs, trade and industry, interior, justice, health. 10.
And then you're done. I see. So then you have all these 10 ministries in one building.
Yep.
One building.
One building.
Does that building exist right now?
Yeah. The communication building. We can listen. Even the EC building can have all these ministries in there. Go in there. They have all the place lit up, air conditions blowing, nobody in there, and you call this efficiency? Come on. We don't even understand efficiency. We don't get it. We don't understand. Hey, Ratties. Go to the ministries. Have you been to the ministries before? You go there 10 a.m. Somebody's eating wache, reading newspapers. The other person is on TikTok. Well, WhatsApp, chilling. You call this working? You seriously? When I go there and I see them, listen. You can have 2 people run the whole EC. Two people. Because listen, the genius is when EC comes into effect every 4 years, correct?
Right.
So 3 years, 3.5 years, you don't have a need for a full staff.
Not entirely.
Exactly. So you can just have people come in and work for you on a part-time basis, and then when it gets to 3 years, 3.5 years, close to elections. First of all, we've made the situation very tough because we have not implemented the things that will make this thing run seamlessly.
I mean,
so
what will those things be? Because while there may not be need for electoral commission's presence throughout, the rest period after an election, things happen during those periods. Why do
we have to regenerate a voter registry every year? Why do we have to do that? If you community use 17 years right now, we had a national data repository system. At age 18, you automatically port from the national database onto the electoral registry. It's an HTML code. How difficult is that? You know how much it costs? You know how much it costs?
Tell me.
It's like sending an email. Oh gosh, man, this is ridiculous.
I see. But I can understand that, there could be poor service. People's attitude towards work could be poor. But juxtaposing that to almost cutting down everything.
Everything.
Yes. You still think you would have the efficiency you need to run.
Actually, it will be more efficient.
Because you cut down everything. And so this one building for all ministries. How many people are you seeing working for all these 10 ministries that you put there?
Okay, so let me flip it so you could get a perspective. With the thousands of people they have in there now, we are 760 billion in debt. We are 760 billion in debt. So what's the use of all the people that we have? That's where I start from. You haven't been able to prove to me that there is an inherent direct benefit for having all these people. So
Right.
I'm going to cut them and put them into agriculture.
And you're going to cut them to what? What will be the ideal number of people to work in these 10 ministries?
We don't know yet, but we know, that's why I said I'm going to reduce government by 73% minimum. My initial analysis is 75%, but I just did it 73.
Okay.
But 75% we could reduce it. And when you go to the ministry, 2 days ago was at passports. And you go in the guru boys, everybody, hey, why? Why can't we have a system? We've always had deals.
But there is a system. Have you used that system before?
Well, the last time I had passports done for friends, family members who came from, we went to the passport center at Circle.
The digital center,
Digital
yes.
center. And you know what blew my mind? There is an office that does all the work that you need to prepare you for the passport. And it's not owned by Ghana. Why is that? That upsets me. Am I making sense? If there is a process that you need to conclude, to complete, to qualify you to get a passport, then it's a legitimate path to obtaining a passport. Why haven't they included that in the process of getting a passport? Why have they taken that out and given to somebody on the side to give that service in the passport building?
I mean, that's a fair question, but I guess that's the digital center. But when you go to the other centers, the people who work there work for the government.
I'm not saying they don't work for the government, but there are people who work there who don't work for the government.
So what I'm saying is that when you go to the other centers, perhaps it is the digital center. And I'm saying, fair question you're asking, but just to clarify the conversation we are having for anyone who is listening, when you go to the other centers, they are not owned by a private company.
No, the passport center itself is owned by Ghana, but there are supporting services like photocopying, like copies of forms and stuff. Why isn't that all part of the process? Do you see where money is seeping out? It doesn't seem like a very smart government to me.
No fares for business class travel for officials, no V8 for officials, 95% reduction in diplomatic missions. Why are you interested in that?
What's the purpose of a diplomatic mission? The purpose of a diplomatic mission is to have a trade desk. You know what a trade desk is for? So that they could find out about everything this country is doing that we think we can do to also make money and get the benefits. Tell me about one trade desk in all the 55 missions that we have. Not one. Not one. Why have it then? Simple question. I just asked. Oh, let's flip. I just asked the questions. Kamini, listen, everything I am saying to you, I have researched. I have traveled almost every spot in the world.
And you plan to abolish company boards as well.
Gosh, that's a big one. Company boards, what do company boards do for you? See, back when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have a way of tapping into some external mastermind to find out things. You had boards to sit and say, oh, you know what, we have thought about eating kenke instead of benku. The board comes in with all the wisdom and says, well, the benefits of eating kenku versus benku versus kenke is da-da-da-da-da, then come they help you plan. You could get every information at your fingertips.
But boards are everywhere in the world.
Oh,
is there anywhere in the world there are no boards?
So
I mean, I'd like to hear a better reason for why you want to abolish company boards.
It costs money, and you have not proven to me that these boards have been profitable. So what's the need for the board, whose primary objective is to make these boards more profitable? Am I making sense? See, for everything that we do, you have to be able to prove to me that there is a reason for doing it.
Kofi, all of these things you're saying, you have the vision, you have the mission in mind. Do you have people alongside with you who hold the same vision and mission?
No, we have the mastermind. We actually have the mastermind. I'm so glad you asked me that. We have the mastermind.
And the mastermind isn't you?
Into what?
The mastermind isn't you? I thought you would be the mastermind of that vision.
No. Oh, my God. I don't have any brains. My brains are small. I have a mastermind. See, the beauty of a leader is not to know everything. The beauty of a leader is to have the humility to know that you don't know it all. You bring in competencies that you assemble, and you call that a mastermind. Those are the people who design the master class. The master class is who develops the master key. With the master key, you build systems. And with the systems, you build structures. And the structures sets up the standards that becomes the success models that you run your organization with.
Okay, so make it simple for me.
Simple is we're going to make it work. We're going to get the results. That's simple.
Do you have the people?
Oh, yeah, we do.
Who like-minded people who are alongside?
Bigger-minded.
Okay.
They are.
So it means that you have in mind already a picture of what your ministers would look like, what your who your ministers are. Do you have that? I see.
We know.
I see.
We're gonna show Ghanaians in maybe a week or so. We show Ghanaians.
I look forward to that. Thank you so much for coming.
Are you gonna invite us back?
we look forward to seeing you there. Kofi Kranting is independent candidate for the presidential race in the 2024 elections. My name is Kemini Amano. This is Hot Issues. We'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.
Just in case you don't know about her, which I doubt, because I'm sure you've seen her videos all over. You've seen her globe-trotting, playing at some of the topmost events, including the Grammy weekend. Well, she's right here in the studio with us, and we're going to get to know more about Chichi DJ right behind me. Hey, girl, how you doing? You look so fly.
You too.
I need to come to you for style lessons, you know. I absolutely love this. But good afternoon and welcome to the Day Show. It's another Sunday afternoon. We're back as usual, and it's all about